I'm Katie.
Hi, I'm Jo, and we're from Picture News.
Welcome to our first ever virtual assembly. We're going to be running a virtual assembly every week from today, which we'll release every Friday for you to watch at home.
So you need to run and grab some stuff to start with. What I need you to go and get, and we're going to give you a timer, it's like a first challenge. You need to go and get something that you can write with, for example, a pen or a pencil, and something that you can record your ideas. Not toilet paper, because we all know there's a shortage on that. Piece of paper will be fine. So here's your timer, off you go. So we're going to start by looking at the picture that's associated with this week's story. So the first thing that I would like you to do is jot down some things that you can see in this picture. What can you see, Katie?
See something that looks maybe a plane or a space rocket?
What do you reckon? Is it a plane, an aeroplane, or is it a space rocket? Jot down your ideas. I wonder, are these things down here? Is there a road? Are there some houses? What can you see down there? Have a closer look.
Looks like it's flying fairly high.
Because those things down there are really, really small. What about in the sky? What can you see? What are the shapes in the clouds? Can you see the light sort of shining in a certain way? Could you describe the way that light is shining? Okay, now I'd like you to jot down some of the things that you like about this picture. So all of those things that you've described, or you might find something else, what do you actually like about this picture? What do you like, Katie?
I like the colours, blue sky.
I actually really, really like that space rocket / aeroplane. I think that is really, really cool. Okay, what about things that you don't like? Is there anything that you don't like, Katie?
Well, I have a bit of a fear of heights. So maybe being that high up
might be a little bit scary. Yeah, it does look like it's a long, long way up in the sky. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is think about any questions you have. So what questions would you like to ask about this picture and this story? So have a really good think about a question you might like to ask. Do you have a question?
Where are they going?
Oh, that's a good one. Where are the people in this spaceship or aeroplane or flying object actually going? What about how high are they? What about where is it? Have you got any questions? Jot them down on your piece of paper. Okay, I think we want you to now have a try to see if you can guess what this week's story might be about. So you're taking a bit of a guess, you're making a prediction. What could this week's story be all about? Jot that down on your piece of paper too, not the toilet paper.
So this week's big question is, do you think that space tourism is a good idea? So to tell you a little bit more about the story, so in this week's news, Virgin Galactic owner Richard Branson are one of the first companies intending to make space travel accessible to the public. The company has seen a big increase in the demand for tickets for flights to space, the first of which will be taking place later this year.
Okay, so we would like to ask you, have you ever heard of space tourism? And what do you think it might be? Have a jot down of your ideas. Do you reckon we need to flick to the next slide to find out, Katie? Because I'm not quite sure. Let's do that now.
What is space tourism? Space tourism is human space travel for fun. There are 3 types of space tourism, including orbital, which is within the Earth's orbit, suborbital, out of the Earth's orbit, and lunar, the moon space tourism.
So now we're going to think about how this story actually makes us feel. How does it make you feel, Katie?
think excited.
Why does it make you feel excited?
I think the thought of going into space is
Something you quite like
exciting.
to do.
Yeah.
I think it makes me feel a little bit afraid and a little bit frightened. And I think the reason it makes me feel like that is I'm not a massive holiday fan. I don't particularly like going away very often. So the thought of going away from my home quite scares me, but actually going off into space completely terrifies me, in fact. So yeah, I feel quite differently to you. So how does it make you feel? And why does it make you feel that way? Jot that down, please. Okay, so we're now going to take those words and see if we could exchange it for an even better word. So we're going to show you our grid now. Okay, so now we're just showing you a grid with examples of lots of other words that you could use that mean the same thing as your word. Can you find your word on there? And can you then find an even better word to use? Oh, oh my goodness! We are here and here are our words. So where's your word, Katie? Well, how did you feel?
So excited.
So can you think of an even better word to use instead of excited?
How about exhilarated?
Oh, fantastic. And so where's my word? Oh, it's all the way over here. So I'm actually feeling afraid. So I could use the word apprehensive instead to describe how I feel. We're going to show you the grid again and give you a couple more minutes to find your word and see if you can find an even better word and jot that down on your piece of paper.
So this week's story is all about the Virgin Galactic. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about what the Virgin Galactic is. Virgin Galactic was created in 2004 to offer paying customers a trip into suborbital space. Anybody can take a 90-minute flight into the atmosphere where they will experience a few minutes of weightlessness and see the curvature of the Earth's surface.
Wow.
Wow, I want to do that.
I'm still a bit afraid. Okay, so how much would one of these trips actually cost? I've been thinking about this. So I spent quite a lot of money on my car. My car cost me about £10,000.
Wow.
It can't cost more than that, surely, to go on one of these trips.
No, the next door neighbour's house was £200,000.
Wow. So a whole house costs £200,000. It definitely can't be that, can it? Surely? Oh my goodness me. So it actually does cost almost £200,000. So the same price as a house in your street to have a trip aboard on this.
For one ticket?
For one ticket. Would you go? Have a think. Jot down your thoughts. Do you think you would go, Katie?
Maybe not anymore.
Maybe not. Do you know, I wonder if perhaps if it was one of those once in a lifetime things that you saved up for, maybe I could understand somebody wanting to do that. Maybe. Maybe not for me, since how I'm still afraid to go there. If you were given the opportunity to go on the flight, would you want to? Would the money put you off? If someone said it was completely free, would you go?
According to Virgin, 600 people from 60 different countries have already bought tickets.
Wow, that's amazing that they've already sold all those tickets.
I know. So I bet you're wondering now what will happen on the first trip. So the passengers will spend a few days training at the spaceport in New Mexico, USA, before having a luxury meal with family and friends ahead of their 90-minute flight into space.
Okay, so what do you think the benefits of space travel actually are? And are there any negatives? What do we think the benefits of space travel actually are? And are there any negatives? Do we think we can learn more about our world from traveling into space? Can you think of any negatives, Katie?
I think,
is it always good for us?
yeah, and the planet.
Oh, yeah, the environment as well. Jot down some of your thoughts. You could even, if you want to, have a positives and negatives column and see if you could jot a few ideas in each. And then you can add some more as you think of them as we go through the rest of the assembly.
To give you some more information, little is known about the long-term effects on humans from travelling into space. Do you think more research and time should be invested into investigating who is suitable to leave the Earth's orbit?
So currently, astronauts actually have to pass extensive suitability and health tests to make sure they are in good health before they go into space. I wonder if they'll be doing those health checks in the same depth and way for the people travelling aboard the Galactic.
You'd hope so.
So
now we're going to go into a reflection. So if you want to make yourself comfortable, so either sit down, maybe close your eyes. Over history, the human desire to explore has been very powerful for many and led to huge advancements, including visiting all corners of the Earth, air travel, and even seeing people on the moon.
Okay, so well done everybody. We're nearly at the end of our assembly now, but we thought some of you might quite like to do a couple of tasks based on what we have learned today. So there's two ideas that you could do. The first one is to write a diary entry, imagining you are on that maiden voyage on the Virgin Galactic, heading off into space. What you're going to see, how does it feel? And you could write that diary entry. The second choice is perhaps you could draw a picture of what you can see when you peep out of the window on that very first maiden voyage on board the Virgin Galactic. And we would absolutely love to see them, so you could always send them in to us here at Picture News. What do you think you would do, Katie?
Oh, I think the diary.
Diary entry. Yeah. Get some of that amazing vocabulary in there, those feeling words. I think I might draw a picture. I wonder if I might see an alien. Okay, so the only thing we've got to mention now is our discussion board.
Yes. So if you're new to Picture News, one thing we do every week is have a big poster and a big question to discuss. So this week's question was, do you think that space tourism is a good idea? Which we've been discussing in this session. This question is now live on our discussion board. So to access our discussion board, we'll go through the website later. But what we're going to do is look at last week's big question and our favourite response from that. So here's our discussion board, and our comment of the week is from Melise, age 8, from West Grove Primary School. I think the hardest part of starting over again is the decision of starting again. And the reason why we really liked that was because we thought it was very thoughtful. So sometimes starting again, which was the focus for last week's question, it's really hard if it's a choice. Sometimes it might seem easier to continue, even if things aren't exactly as you like them to be. But making that decision and then going through with it can sometimes be really brave. So we thought that was a really thoughtful response. So thank you, Melise. So here is our website for our discussion board. So we would love for you to visit our site and add your comments. We select 8 comments every week, so you can read the comments and the thoughts of others to this week's big question.
And we will share them with you next week as well. And maybe you will have the comment of the week next week. Very exciting. So we're coming to an end now, and we want to thank you all for tuning in, and we really, really hope that you will join us next week and look forward to what's in Picture News next week.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.